great guy, Butch Holley. That was not me, that's Butch, by the way. When he saw his picture up there and he was walking around, the first thing he said to me was, "That doesn't look like me." I've known Butch and his wife Laurie for well over 10 or 12 years now, and we've been at a number of different events together. He heads up all the Columbia County events. He was at the Croc Center for a while. He's doing all sorts of other things. Let's have a round of applause for him and a nice welcome.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Well, thanks again for letting me come in and get out of the office. I really appreciate that fact. And I didn't realize that I knew as many people that are here at ADP as I do, but it was kind of fun walking around going, hey, what's going on? But Eddie's right. The first thing that I saw as we were walking around was that picture of me. And I'd like to preface it to say that was after my wife and I were married and before we had kids. So that was like 14 years ago. You see what happens. But anyway, all kidding aside, you guys are a tremendous organization. And I know through Eddie and all of the teammates here, y'all have had a lot of presentations on a lot of different things, from leaderships to life skills and things of that nature. So I tried to kind of think out of the box and tried to think of what is it that a regular guy like me could share with you. I don't know if there's that much that's, to really brag about, but I did come up with the title of The Secret of My Success. I'm not going to reference the movie with Michael J. Fox. Please tell me I'm not the only one that's in this room that has seen that movie. Okay, thank you. I know there's a few people that saw it. 1987 is a great movie. It'll come available on demand for free every now and then. I highly recommend it. It's pretty good. But anyway, yes, I completely...
Most of them weren't born then.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of y'all weren't even born then. But I did rip off their movie title because it's a great movie. So, I wore this right. Did I hit that button? Or this button? All right. So, I always like to point out, my name is Butch Holley. And I have to say it slow because if I say it fast, it sounds like Butch Charlie. And people always call me Charlie. So my name is Butch Holley. Officially, I am the Community Events Manager for Columbia County. So I hope all of you have been to Evans Town Center Park. You probably call it Lady A Park. Everybody calls it Lady A Park. That's cool, as long as you're going. You've been to the different concerts, festivals, things of that nature. That's what our department does. Believe it or not, we actually have a department that runs the entire show. There's a lot of logistics management, which I'm sure all of y'all can relate to when it comes to that kind of stuff. My family is very deeply rooted in the CSRA, and we'll talk about family stuff in just a little bit, but it's always good to know where your roots are from, because you can't ever escape it when it comes down to it. Your roots are what make you who you are to some extent. I am not a golfer. I'm one of the few people that live in Augusta, that grew up in Augusta, that will admit I am not a golfer. I have tried to play golf. I don't like golf. Golf is like the only sport in the world that you can't win. You're constantly trying to beat your own self, and I don't get it. I mean, I really, oh man, I did better today, or I did worse today. I don't get that. So what do? I'm kind of an exercise, not a nut, but I love to exercise, and my biggest hobby is backpacking and hiking. I love getting out and just escaping. If you can get me off the grid for a week with a tent and some, MRIs or MREs, not MRIs, but MREs, I'm pretty happy. I might need an MRI afterwards. But anyway, and then when it comes down to it, hunting and fishing are kind of, the big thing that I do with my kids. I've got 2 boys. They're 14 and 11, and my wife. We all love to hunt and fish and just get outdoors. So, the fishing side of thing is kind of where I developed the secret to my success. What is it that got me to where I am and so forth. So it all starts with this guy, Captain Chris. So my family, we were on vacation at Isle of Palms, where we always go, Isle of Palms, and we decided, let's go fishing. And we chartered a boat. If you've never chartered a boat to go out into the ocean, it's an unbelievable experience, especially with somebody like Captain Chris. Chris's boat was a little 20-foot flat bottom boat, and we went out. And when I fish, y'all, I believe in the ABCs of fishing. Do y'all know what that is? It's always be catching. Because if you're not catching, it's no fun. You just hang it up. And we went out with Chris, and I said, Chris, look, man, you're really into the ABCs. We're tearing it up. I mean, we are wearing it out with fish. And he said, yeah, it's pretty good. Do this 4 months a year. And I said, well, what do you do the other 6 months, that you're sitting around? Because I know you got a month to ramp up and a month to ramp down. He said, I'll do anything. I just play at home with my family and just have a good time. I said, well, dude, you ever thought about getting a bigger boat? I mean, if you got a bigger boat, you can take out more people. And he said, Butch, you really remind me of the story of the fisherman and the businessman. And I'll share it with you real quick, and it goes like this. So there was this fisherman coming into port after fishing one day, and he's coming in, and he's got about 3 or 4 fish, and he'd been out there. And there's a businessman standing on the pier, and he asked the fisherman, he said, you're in already? You only caught like 4 fish. And the fisherman said, yeah, well, this is perfect. This feeds my family, and I get to go back for the rest of the day. It's no big deal. And so the businessman said, well, look, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice here. If you'll stay out longer, you'll catch more fish. And if you catch more fish, you can feed your family, but then you can sell it to the market, and you'll make even more money. And the fisherman said, wow, that's pretty cool. Well, what would I do then with all that extra money? And the businessman said, well, with the extra money, you can buy more boats. And you'll have more people going out fishing. Before you know it, you'll have more money than you know what to do with, and so you're going to have to start a brand new company with fishing charters up and down the East Coast. The fisherman said, man, what do I do then? I mean, this sounds unbelievable. The guy said, well, then, my friend, you've got so much money, you can just retire. And the fisherman said, okay, well, what would I do if I retire? He said, well, then you'd be able to stay at home and go out and fish a couple hours a day and spend the rest of the time at home with your family. So the fisherman said, nah, I think I'm just going to stick with my 2 fish in my small boat. So, Chris told me that, and it was kind of one of those surreal moments where we're coming back in and the wind's blowing in our face, and maybe it was too many cold beers on the boat, and maybe it was the sun, but it was kind of one of those aha moments. I went, wait a minute, I think I'm kind of getting something here. And we got back, and I started scribbling down some stuff, and I'm a writer. I love writing down things and go back and read my notes and seeing what I came up with. But my aha moment kind of hit me. And that's when I realized that there are 3 F's that are essential to a successful life. Now, all of y'all went to school growing up. All of y'all went to college at some point, further education. A lot of y'all are a lot smarter than me. But I was always taught that F's are bad. Well, there's 3 F's that really add up to a good thing. And I'm going to share those with you. All right, the first one is faith. And I know faith is a deep subject when you think about it. Everybody says, oh, faith, he's going to pull out the religious card. I'm not, I swear. But faith is essential. So this is kind of an interactive thing. Let me ask you this. How do you define faith? Anybody just raise your hand? Anybody? In the back. Something that you believe in. Very good. And I'm kind of right there with you. The way that I see faith is it's trust in something absent of a physical presence. And really, that's the core nature of faith when you think about it. So there's all kinds of different types of faith, right? It's important to be in tune with these different types of faith to have a successful life. The first one, of course, is your spiritual faith. Your spiritual faith is something that's close to you and that you reflect upon every single day of your life. Even if you realize you do or you don't, you do reflect on your spiritual faith, and you got to be in tune with it. The second one is your personal faith. I don't know about y'all, but at the beginning of every morning, it's kind of one of those, y'all know who Stuart Smalley is. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. So, that's that personal faith. I look in the mirror every morning, I'm determined to make today a better day than it was yesterday. And at the end of the day, I can look in the mirror and go, man, you really stunk it up. Or you just had an awesome day. Way to go. You did exactly what you're supposed to do. But you've got to be in touch with your personal and your spiritual sides of your faith. But then the other one is communal. And I think that this organization probably exhibits that better than anybody else when it comes down to it. Y'all have a very strong community, but you have to have the communal faith that you together as a body are going to move forwards on a successful path. The next F is your family. And I mentioned my family earlier. So, what's your family story? Think about it. What's your family story? What's the old saying? You can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. But you can pick your friend's family or something like anyway. So I'll tell you. When it comes to my family, I've got everything from politicians to crooks. And, from healthcare, some of the politicians were crooks. But no, not all of them. But then I've got healthcare workers, I've got attorneys, I've got people that are in general labor, restaurant people. You name it. I know that my family represents a cross section. And my family represents me to an extent, and I represent them. So, when you think about your family, there's different types of family, just like there were different types of faith. The first one that you think of is your personal family, the ones that you go home to. One of my best friends, his family is his lab. When he goes home, he's not married, he's a single guy. Really jealous of him a lot of times. Single guy, he goes home, he's got his dog. He goes home, hey, the best thing about a dog?
They don't
Dog don't care. A dog is always happy, And you'll find more guys with dogs than you will with cats. And I'll tell you why. Because cats are mean, man. Cat looks at you like, I really don't care what you got going on. But a dog loves you, So you go home and your dog's just waiting on you. So your personal family is one of the best things in the world that you've got to have that connection with. For me, I mentioned it earlier, my wife and I met in high school. We dated off and on through college. And then we ended up getting married. We've got 2 boys. We both live here. Got a really blessed personal life. But then outside of your personal life, you've got your work family. Now, he was walking us around earlier. It's easy to see the big family that y'all have here within ADP. But I was noticing as I'm walking through, y'all got your own little sectors of worlds as I was walking through. And I was noticing there was a cluster of people talking here, and there was a cluster of people talking there. And it was just one of those things that, okay, there's the family, but then there's the work family, the ones that you see every day. You probably know more about those people than you realize. And truth be told, you're spending more time with your work family than you are your personal family. So it's very essential that you get along with each other. Then the third type of family is your communal family. The barista at Starbucks on Washington Road in Evans, I guarantee you, has the biggest communal family of anybody else. She knows everybody. And the few times that I roll the dice and I decide I'm going to try to go in here and take 30 minutes to get that cup of coffee just because I'm going to do it, she remembers me. And it's amazing. One day she said, well, hey, Mr. Butch, how you doing? I'm going, God, where's my name badge? How'd she know who I am? But she knows her communal family. And it's up to us to have a good, strong communal family. The farmers in Columbia County that grow crops, that bring them here, to the people that are teaching our kids at school, it's all part of that communal family. And if you're in sync with your communal, work, and personal family, it helps you to live a more successful life. The last one is my favorite. It's fun. And fun is essential. And this is why I bolded it. It's have fun in everything you do. Sometimes that's easier said than done. I'll tell you a little story real quick about myself. So when I was, 15 years out of college, I finally looked around and asked myself, are you happy? Are you really happy doing what you're doing? When I graduated college, the first thing I did was go into sales because I was always told, Butch, you can sell ice to an Eskimo, man. You've got that gift of gab, you can talk. And I did it. When I came out, and I'm going to tell y'all how old I am just so that you can get an idea. I came to Augusta after college as the market manager for PageNet of Atlanta. Remember those things, pagers? Yeah. So anyway, I was the guy that came from PageNet of Atlanta and rolled out the market here. And we were putting up towers with pager repeaters on it and the hospitals and everything. Everybody's getting their pagers from me. And I was making $2.75 for every pager. Y'all, we were rolling. It was, here I am, I'm 23 years old, I'm driving my little 1978 CJ7 around, I got 500 plus beepers in the back, and everybody's looking at me going down the road, Beeper Man! He's the Beeper Man. But it went from cell phones, or went from pagers to cell phones, the company that I worked for was acquired 7 different times in 5 years. And it was just, at one time, I got a check twice from 2 different companies. And for the same payroll week. I just couldn't figure it out. I don't think they were ADP clients. But, but anyway, so sales was in my blood, and I enjoyed it, and I had fun with it. But then one day I just woke up, and I'm like, God, are you happy? Do you really enjoy doing what you're doing? Every day in sales, you start off with a 0. What you did yesterday doesn't matter. You got to make your money today and plant the ground for tomorrow, kind of thing. So I made a hard decision. My wife and I had to pray on it. I had an opportunity that came upon me where I could move out of sales and into management. And it was going to be to the essence of about a $28,000 pay cut a year. And I wasn't ready for that. I really wasn't. And it was one of those things that, hey, we've got to stand strong on our faith. Is this the opportunity that we want? Well, lo and behold, things happened. My wife got a raise at work that was about $29,000 in her raise, so that made it very easy. And I became happy, and I moved on. Yeah, I was like, yeah, honey, I'm going into management. So anyway, that's where it comes back to doing what you love to do. Can all of y'all honestly say that you love what you do right now? If you can, that's great. If you can't, have that gut check. Have a little talk with yourself. Go on a hike like I do, or go play golf, or whatever it may be. But do what you love to do. Now, there is a caveat to this rule, and I always like to point this out. Do what you love to do as long as it pays well. If you can't sustain yourself on what you love doing, then do something that makes money, and then volunteer your time in an area with things that you love to do. You're going to be a happier person. You really will be. So, that's about it. Faith, family, and fun. 3 F's equal an A in success. See, I told you I'd bring it back around. So the 3 F's do equal an A. So there you go. There's my contact information. If y'all need me for anything, I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn. And then I want to encourage you to go and like Columbia County Community Events. This is how you'll find out about all the different things we've got going on out there. I'll drop a little secret. There is a very huge concert announcement that will be coming out first part of next week. If you're on Facebook or Twitter following us, you're going to be one of the first ones to know. But trust me, you're going to want to know this concert announcement. So that's all I've got. I've got a few minutes. Has anybody got anything that they need to throw out there real quick? Nothing? Man, I did my job. Thank you.